All right, Genius. So welcome back. This is our day 11. And from day 11 to day 30, we'll be talking about JavaScript. Okay, we have talked about HTML and CSS. We're talking about JavaScript. So let's have an introduction to JavaScript and how we actually set JavaScript up so that we can use it on our web page. So like you already know, this is going to be very, very introductory. So in case you have any idea on, you have any experience in JavaScript, okay, you can just go to the quick test, take your test. If you pass it, you go to the next class. But it will not be a bad idea for you to also take a look at this one too. Okay. All right. So we'll take a look at what is JavaScript, how it works in the browser, JavaScript in HTML, and also you'll be reading books. The first book is Eloquent JavaScript. You'll be reading the chapter one, and you'll also be reading JavaScript and jQuery by Docket. You'll be reading chapter one and chapter two. So the books are actually provided. You will get it in the WhatsApp group. All right. So you'll be practicing on how to, your assignment will be adding a script tag to an HTML page and then log a message. Okay. So as simple as that. We'll just start it very simple. So JavaScript is a programming language that adds interactivity, logic, and dynamism to websites. You have seen the website that we have created, most especially the project we just concluded, the landing page. You can see that it is not interactive. It's just there, static. Nothing is happening. It's just there. All right. Unless maybe you now use CSS to do some animations, it will just be there, all right, very static. But with JavaScript, we can add interactivity. Users can interact with our web page. We can add some logic to it and dynamism to the website. So JavaScript is very important. It's one of the core technologies of the web along with HTML and CSS. The thing is that you can't build a web page in this modern age. You can't build a web page without HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Some of you are always running away from the idea of JavaScript. Like, oh, JavaScript is hard. I know HTML and I know CSS. You cannot be a good web developer without knowledge of JavaScript. It's not possible. There's no way you can build a functioning web application without JavaScript. So the thing is, they stop shying away from it, and you're here, and we are going to put you through. You're going to understand JavaScript very well in this program. So the JavaScript runs in the browser, meaning users don't need to install anything to use it. So JavaScript is comes with your browser. It is installed in the browser. It runs in the browser, so users don't need to install it. JavaScript can be used to show alerts, validate forms. Okay, handle user click. These are common things that you can do with JavaScript. You can also use JavaScript to fetch data from APIs. You can use JavaScript to fetch data from APIs. So that is basically as a front-end developer, you will not be developing the backend. So, but you can be fetching APIs that backend developers have developed. So there are some data that you can exchange, right, over the API. So you also learn how to do all these things, especially when we get into React. All right, especially when we get to React, it will look more it will make more sense. So you can also build games, build apps, and complex web interfaces. With JavaScript, you can build games. With JavaScript, you can build mobile applications. All right. With JavaScript, you can also build server-side applications. So it's just JavaScript is something you can't do without as a programmer, especially when it comes to web. So JavaScript was created in just 10 days in 1995 by Brendan Eek. I don't know if I'm pronouncing the name well. So while he was working at Netscape, somebody created this programming language, although it wasn't as sophisticated as it is today. But the thing is that somebody started this movement, created this language in 10 days. So one day, if you work hard, if you work harder, you can actually create your own programming language one day that the whole world will be using. All right. It is something I'm looking forward to doing one day. All right. So JavaScript, let's see how to let's see how to start writing JavaScript. Now, you don't need any complex tools to start. There are two ways you can run JavaScript. There are two ways you can run JavaScript. Remember, JavaScript runs on the browser. So you can run JavaScript in the browser console. Okay, you can run JavaScript in the browser console. So all you have to do is to open your browser, whether Chrome, Firefox, right click on any page, click on inspect and you go to the console. So let me show you how you can run JavaScript on the console, on the browser console. Okay. So now I'm going to right click and I'll click on inspect. Okay, I will right click and click on inspect. So once you do this, for me, I'm going to take this guy up. So this is my console. So this console can be at the right or at the bottom. So if you want to change it, my own is at the bottom. So click on these three icons here and then select this one, dock to right. It will be at the right. If you also want to change it, you can also click on it again. You can say dock to the left. It is on the left now. You can click and dock to undock into separate window. If you want to undock into separate window, but I'm not going to do that. So, but let me try it on the left. So now on the console of this browser, I can write some JavaScript code. I can say console.log 3 plus 7. I hit enter, it will give me 10. So this is JavaScript code. So you can write JavaScript here on the console. So this is one way of writing JavaScript. You can write any code at all here on the console. You can do anything you want to do here on the console. I can say const name is equal to person. Now, I can now call name like this, and name will become person. Okay, I can do anything. Okay, I can say console.log, or I can say const. See, I can just write couple of JavaScript code. I can say console full name is equal to. I can use the backtick, and I'll say my full name is. I will use the literal. I don't. Most of you might not know what I'm doing now, but it's okay. You're going to learn it. So I can do this. I can say my full name is, and if I call this full name like this, you say my full name is person one. So don't mind if you don't understand this object, this literal string literal I just did. Now don't worry, we'll talk about it later on. Okay. So now this is one way of using JavaScript. Okay. This is one way of writing JavaScript. Another way of writing JavaScript is um, in an HTML file. So you can create when you create an HTML file called index.html, you can add the following code to it. So you use the script tag. When you want to write JavaScript in an HTML tag, in an HTML page, you use the script tag. So now let's go and open, let me go and 100 days front end. So I'm going to start with, I'm going to create another folder here. I will call it JavaScript. Okay. I'll call it JavaScript. So this JavaScript, I'm going to open it with Visual Studio Code. Okay. So now I have my JavaScript. So I'll create a file. I'll call it index.html. All right. And I will just have my doc type. Oops. I have my doc type HTML. Sorry. Then, of course, I will have my HTML. Then I will have my head. I might not be needing the head now. Okay, I don't need the head. So I'm going to skip the head. I just hope it wouldn't give us any error. So I should write my script inside of the body. Okay. So now if I want to write any HTML, I can say script. If I want to write any JavaScript, I will use the script tag. And okay. So now I can just say on the load of this page, I can just say alert, hello, JavaScript. Okay. So once I save, I click on go live. As soon as the page loads, you're going to see a alert. You can see hello JavaScript. So the code that I have written in JavaScript has just run. All right. It has just run. So if I go back to the page, you will see that we have written JavaScript inside of this script. So any code that you write, any JavaScript code you write will be inside of here. So this is one way of using JavaScript in HTML. We'll come to that later on. So you can write a couple of JavaScript code inside here. All right. So let's take a look at how JavaScript works in the browser. When you load a web page, all right, the HTML will build the structure. You already know this. The browser will pass the HTML, build the structure, the DOM object, and stuff like that. So this building, this HTML, the HTML that builds the structure is like the walls in the house. So you now use CSS to style the elements. It's like painting and decoration. You use CSS to do all those things. But then JavaScript makes the page interactive, like opening the doors, pressing switches, opening windows, or anything you can do inside a house. Those interactions that you can do inside a house is done by JavaScript. Okay, so the browser passes the HTML line by line to produce the DOM. When it sees a script tag, it runs the JavaScript code immediately. Whenever after passing the HTML, um, whenever the browser sees a script tag, it will run the JavaScript code inside of it. So you can see the one we just did now. Immediately the browser saw the script tag, it ran the what's it called again? The alert code there. So the code in the JavaScript says alert hello JavaScript, and that's what it did. So immediately the browser passes the HTML and sees a script tag, it would run the JavaScript code. Now the thing is this: if you it is advisable not to put your script tags. It's advisable not to put your script tags in the header. It's advisable not to put your script tags in the header. Now, unless your if okay, let me explain this. Let me explain. Let me go back. So I'm going to add the head session. I'm going to add the head session. So I can also do the same thing here. I can also do the same thing. I can take this guy out and put it in the head section. Normally, everything will be okay. So if I go back to the browser, you can see it is still saying hello JavaScript. All right. Now, but if I use the keyword, if I use the keyword instead of this script, if I use the keyword differ, so what it's going to do is that once the browser, sorry, Hmm. Okay, so there's something I'm trying to do. Ah, let me try what I'm trying. Okay. Okay. So now I'm coming back to this, what I'm trying to explain. I'm coming back to it. So JavaScript can access and modify the HTML and CSS using the DOM object model. So all those, the object that the browser has created using the HTML and the CSS, the JavaScript can access and modify. So you're going to see how to modify elements, okay? Now, something like this, when you have this P ID of demo and saying hello, you can actually modify it, okay, using the document.getElement by ID, and you're saying the ID is demo.innerText. So we are using this thing to change the inner text. So this is the code you can use to change the inner text. But we are not talking of DOM manipulation yet, so I wouldn't go into details. All right. I wouldn't go into details of what this thing means. But basically, what we are doing here is that we are looking for, we are using this method to look for an element that has ID of demo, which is this one. And then we are changing the inner text from hello to hello from JavaScript. Okay, so you can try this out. Look at the code document.get element, but that's not our primary aim right now. We'll talk about DOM manipulation later on. But you can use you can use JavaScript to manipulate the DOM. Okay. JavaScript can be added in different ways. You can do inline JavaScript. Okay. So something like now, you see this button that we have now. We are writing JavaScript inside of it. So let's go and do some experiment. It's not advisable to put your script tags in the head. Mhm. Okay. So now let's do something. I will remove this. So I want to do inline. So different ways you can actually add JavaScript to your HTML is you can use inline. So I can say button, and I'll say click. I will give it a name of click me. All right. So now I can do inline JavaScript here. I can say on click. Okay. I can say on click is equal to, then I will write my JavaScript inside of here. I can say on the click of this button, run this code, alert. I will say alert hello JS. Okay, sorry. Since I'm using double quote outside, I'm going to use single quote inside. Okay, we'll come to that later on. So if I do this, all right, if I go to the page, to the web page now, I just have to reload this. So when I reload this, so if I click on this button now, look at what it will say. It will say hello JS. So on the click of this button, I am alerting. That's something I did or with the script tag. So now I can use inline JavaScript, but please, it's not advisable. Don't use inline JavaScript, please don't. Don't use inline JavaScript. You can also use internal JavaScript by using the script tag. That's the one I have just showed you now, using the script tag. All right, so inside of the HTML page, you can have the script tag, and anything you write there, the JavaScript, the browser would run the JavaScript. That's inline. So no, this is internal, all right? So, but we also have external, all right? So let's run this internal example. So this thing that I did here, all right? This thing that I did here, I can actually do something like this. Inside my script, inside my script, inside my script, I can just create a function. All right. Then we'll talk about function later on. I can create a function, and the name of the function is say hello. All right. So I can now say alert uh, hello JS. All right. Now, on the click of this button, all right, I'm going to remove this. On the click of this button, I will just call this say hello function like this. So this is internal, all right? It will still work. So we'll go to the browser to even refresh first, so make sure that everything is okay. So when I click, that button still runs, okay? So that's one way. You can do internal, you can do inline, but please don't use these, okay? The best way is external JavaScript. So you have to create another JavaScript file, and then you can link it with the HTML, just like we do with CSS. Okay, so it's as simple as doing this. Instead of writing this whole thing inside here, I'll take out this JavaScript code. I'll take this one out. And then what am I going to do? I will write I'll call it index.js, and then I'll put in this like this. Okay, this will still work. This will still work. And if I go on, I click. Oops, it doesn't work. Oh, sorry, I have not linked it. I'm sorry about that. I created it, but I did not link it. So how do you link it? Um, you use the script tag. You use the script tag. Okay. You use the script tag for the linking. Okay. And then I will say source is equal to, I will reference index.js. So when I save now, I come back here. When I click, you can see it's working now. So what did I do? I took the code out, created a separate JS file, write the function here, come here, and then linked it with the script tag. So this is how you can actually link your JavaScript. So please always use external JavaScript. Always use external, okay? Okay, so this is how it's being done here. So best practices, always separate your JavaScript from your HTML using external files for cleaner code. Um, Place your script tags at the end of the body or you use defer, okay? Place it at the end or you use this defer keyword. All right, this defer keyword will make it not to, uh, it will make it, okay, what the defer keyword does is that it doesn't stop it, but the defer keyword would make it, normally, when the browser passes the HTML, if it misses a script tag, it will execute all the JavaScript code in that script tag before going downward. What it means is this: if you put your script tag in the head section, and then you have your HTML body that the user should see. As soon as the browser gets to that head section and sees the script tag, the browser will pause and execute that JavaScript. That means if that JavaScript code is a long code and takes a lot of time, your users will be waiting. The content will not show because that JavaScript code must run complete, must be executed completely before the body will run. So in order to prevent this, you can use the defer keyword. It means that it will tell the browser, please load the HTML body first before running this JavaScript that I have here. All right. So even if you put the script tag in the head section, the browser, once it sees the script tag, it will not execute it because there is a defer keyword in there. It will not go and load the body. After loading the body, it will not come back to the script and then execute it. So by then, the body of your HTML would have been loaded. Your user will see what you have in your HTML page before executing the JavaScript. So that's for performance reason. Always use console.log for testing and debugging. Okay. So, in summary, JavaScript language adds interactivity to websites. It runs in web browsers. Okay, no install needed. You link it to HTML using the script tag. You can use inline, internal, or external. Always choose to use external. Use the developer tool. All right. If you go to your browser, press F12 or you right click and click on inspect. Key commands console.log to print or debug. You will use this console.log a whole lot. Okay. And then um, let's create a button, although we have actually done this already. Create a button that says click me, and when clicked, shows an alert that says button clicked. We have already done this already, but let's just go and do this as exercise before we go. So I will go back to my JS and I will call because we have not talked about DOM manipulation. I'm not going to use the get element whatever. Okay, so I'm going to say it says alert. The alert should be what? Button clicked. So I will change this function now to click me. I'll change it to click me, and I would alert button clicked. Okay, so once I save, remember, I have linked it already here, but the thing is that the name of this method is click me, and what we are saying here is that on the click of this button, say hello. So we have to change it. to click me. Make sure that the name is the same, and then put your parentheses. So if I save now, go to the browser. All right, if I click on this, it will say button clicked. Okay, so this has been successfully done. So in the next class, things will get more serious. We're going to learn more about the JavaScript programming language, okay? So please do your test, do your assignment, and we'll see you in the next section. Peace.